Yeah.
First, let me say good morning to each of you. I want to thank Miss Carrie for the invite. I'm excited to be here today with you all. I do have a confession. I wasn't, or I didn't know a lot about what the Unitarian Universalist Church stood for. So I did my research. And I love that you all respect the belief of others as well as their right to hold those beliefs. I really love that. I'm just Baptist, which can be good or it can be bad, just, depending on how you see it. But I want to be respectful to you all because you all invited me into your house. Which I'm so very grateful and so very thankful for. And that is my joy to share with you all this morning. It is a joy to be here. My topic this morning is racial equality. What if we were all treated equally? I'm so very grateful that the civil rights movement played a huge part of where we are today, but we still have a ways to go. And so I would like to ask some of you for your thoughts. What are your thoughts on racial equality? Are we doing better, or do you think we're going backwards? Anyone?
I'm an ESL teacher in the public school system in Shelbyville, and what that means is I teach people who have just come to the United States, I teach them English. Mm-hmm. And our high school has been, we know that because 50% of our students are Hispanic, that we've had to embrace differences or we would fail, basically, as a high school. And I'm not so sure about my generation, about which direction we're going, but I am teaching a generation that wants to unify and wants to hold each other to a higher standard. So I see the hope for the future every single day. I don't necessarily see it in the media, and I don't necessarily see it within my own age group, but I know that good things are coming.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Thursday I had 80 first graders at Hands-On Science Center, and the next day I had another 80 first graders at the Science Center. And I'm guilty of having kids help, and I usually try to pick out a black girl to help, which I try to make it not too noticeable. I'm being a little biased, but watching the expressions on their faces is sure fun. So affirmative action, I guess, rightly or wrongly. That's what I do.
Anyone else? Okay.
I was involved in the civil rights activism back in the 60s, early 60s. Mm-hmm. And for myself, I think we've come a long way. And there's a long way to go, I know. But there's been a big, big difference from... I went to speak to a Baptist church, actually, a black Baptist church. And it was really an interesting experience for me. So I see things going in a positive direction mostly, but as Cindy said, we still have our issues.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Quite some time ago, myself and another fellow were leading the religious education group at a Unitarian church in Nashville. And part of that, what we concentrated on was comparative religions. Mm-hmm. And as such, we took our teenage group of about a dozen kids to synagogues and Baptist churches and other religions as well. And we found that when we took our kids to Corinthian Baptist Church, where Dr. Enoch Fuzz is the pastor, we were treated like we were royalty.
Yes.
And I really was grateful for the way they treated us, because I wasn't sure we would reciprocate always if they came to ours. And so I think we have some catching up to do with those who are people of color, because they're more accepting than a lot of those who are from my generation. So we appreciate the black community very much,
Thank you so much.
and Corinthian Baptist.
Anyone else?
I'd just like to say that your church has been a most welcoming church, because I've been there several times, and just, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Overt racism seems to be on the decline, or at least not as visible as it used to be, but I'm becoming acutely aware of some really subtle forms of it that I wasn't aware of earlier, so I'm still on a journey of self-discovery, but it's frustrating to me to be guilty of some of these things without even being conscious of it, I guess, at times. So that's
And I think we all are. Anyone else? So what if we were all treated equally? There would be unity, there would be harmony, there would be oneness, there would be collaboration, there would be camaraderie, there would be fairness, there would be equal opportunities.
I have to fix the camera.
Okay.
This is driving me crazy. Okay.
Okay. Is that better? Okay. There would be community. We're all called to love thy neighbor as thyself. So why can't we? So why don't we? In order for us to ever reach racial equality, we first have to admit and to acknowledge and deal with the racial inequalities that exist. Remember when we were kids and we learned Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world, red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. Now that word precious stuck out to me. Means of great value, not to be wasted or thrown away, or not to be treated carelessly. So let's go back to loving thy neighbor as thyself. How do we see our neighbors? I think we all play it safe by saying that we don't see color. But we can't help but to really see color. When people see me, I want them to see me as a black woman. Just like when I see you as a white woman. And instead of using that against one another, why not use that as the opportunity to get to know one another, to gain a friend, to embrace that person, and to see them as a neighbor that we choose to love as we love ourselves. Because everything is about choices. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote a book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? Are we going to continue to fight against one another, or are we going to form a bond and move forward for the betterment of mankind? Because truth of the matter is, man has not been kind to one another for many, many years. Racial equality. Where do we go from here? And what if we were all treated equal? 2020 was a very interesting year for us. The pandemic hit, and then on top of that, there was the George Floyd incident. From that, I work at the hospital, and we've put signs up at the hospital reminding people to be kind. Since when do we have to remind people to be kind to one another? We're in a pretty bad state when we have to remind one another to be kind to each other. We are made different, but we're created equal. The past is painful. The present is confusing. Yet there is hope for our future. The Constitution says it like this: we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. My grandson and I, we were watching a documentary, and my grandson's dad is Italian, and of course my daughter is black, and so he tells people that he's Ibalian. So we were watching a documentary, and they were talking about, using the water fountain or the bathrooms or going into restaurants for, whites only, blacks only. And in his innocence, he looked at me and he said, "Wow, Nana, if I was there, I could use either one." And my heart just sort of sank, because I had to explain to him that it wasn't just that simple, and unfortunately, that's not how things work. Now, when the Constitution talks about the unalienable rights, those rights should not be transferable, but they've become transferable. Those rights should not become capable of being taken away, but some of those rights have been taken away. Those rights should not be denied, but some of those rights have been denied. Racial equality. What if we all were treated equal? Remember when I said as a kid we learned red, yellow, black, and white? We're all precious in His sight. Somewhere down through the years, we've been taught olive, beige, tan, or brown. Let's do what we can to bring them down. How can racial equality be achieved? It is up to us to get involved on the local, the state, and national levels to ensure people from all walks of life are treated fairly for the same opportunities. Racial equality. What a beautiful world we would live in if we were all treated equal. Thank you.
We will now close with our traditional Psalm 414. So if you will open the book to 414. And let me know when you're ready. There we go. All right, if you can stand, let's stand and let's sing this together.
You know the words. You know the words.
As we leave this friendly place, love you, Lord, to every face.